Ever pondered how Jesus, revered by many as a spiritual figure, was also an extraordinary teacher? His approach was unique, using methods that were impactful and tailored to the hearts of his audience. He employed object lessons, parables, analogies, questions, and discourse, leading by example to drive his message home. Yet, despite his effective teaching techniques, the acceptance of his message wasn't universal. It hinged on the individual's willingness to hear and obey. So let's dive into the teaching methods of Jesus, the master teacher. One of the most notable teaching methods Jesus employed was the use of parables and analogies. These were not just mere stories, but powerful tools that brought forth complex spiritual truths in simple, relatable terms. Take, for instance, the parable of the Good Samaritan. This story, rich with moral implications, effortlessly conveyed the essence of neighborly love and compassion, transcending the boundaries of social norms and prejudices. Then we have the parable of the Prodigal Son, a narrative that beautifully illustrates the limitless and forgiving nature of divine love. Through these parables, Jesus was able to communicate profound truths, making them accessible to everyone, regardless of their educational background or social standing. The beauty of parables and analogies lies in their ability to engage the listener's imagination, inviting them to explore deeper layers of meaning, promoting introspection and personal growth. They bridge the gap between the abstract and the concrete, the divine and the human, making the infinite wisdom of the divine relatable to the finite human understanding. Through parables and analogies, Jesus made profound truths accessible and relatable. But parables and analogies weren't the only tools in Jesus' teaching arsenal. Indeed, he was also a master of questions and discourse. Jesus understood the power of a well-placed question and the stimulating conversation that could follow. He often answered questions with questions, a method that pushed his listeners into the realm of introspection. It encouraged them to dig deep into their own understanding, fostering a sense of self-discovery that made his teachings more impactful. Take, for instance, his conversation with the Pharisees about the greatest commandment. Rather than simply giving an answer, Jesus turned the tables and posed a question of his own. This approach not only engaged his audience but also provoked thought, allowing them to arrive at their own conclusions and, in doing so, internalize the teachings more deeply. Jesus' discourse was also something to behold. His conversations were filled with wisdom and insight, often challenging prevailing notions and encouraging his listeners to view things from a fresh perspective. His words were not just heard, they were felt, resonating with the hearts of those who listened. Through his thought-provoking questions and insightful discourse, Jesus not only taught but also stimulated critical thinking. So, what can we glean from Jesus' teaching methods? Jesus' methods were as diverse as they were profound, reaching the heart through parables, analogies, and discourse, challenging minds with thought-provoking questions. His teachings were not merely abstract concepts. They were relatable, accessible, and adaptable to the audience, making them impactful and timeless. Despite the passage of centuries, these methods still resonate, inspiring teachers and learners alike. Indeed, Jesus was not just a spiritual figure, but a master teacher, whose methods continue to resonate and inspire today.